Hi guys, we're starting 12-3 today. It's called Combining Volumes, and we're going to be looking at the volumes of irregular prisms. So we've been working with cubes and regular prisms, trying to find their volume by looking at a model or by using the formula. But when we have irregular prisms, we have to do something a little bit different. So before we get started on that, I do want to go over your homework from Wednesday, 12-2 homework. So go ahead and grab your workbooks to go over the answers. For number 1, on reteaching, it's 8 meters cubed. Number 2 is 5,520 feet cubed. For practice, number 1 is 336 inches cubed. Number 2 is 384 centimeters cubed. Number 3 is 336 meters cubed. Number 4 is 125 yards cubed. 5 is 160 centimeters cubed. 6 is 312 inches cubed. 7 is C as in cat. 8 is 4 meters. And number 9 is 3,960 inches cubed, and it wouldn't change if it didn't have the lid because the dimensions are still there, even if the face is missing. If you have any questions on some, maybe you got some wrong and don't know why it's wrong, please let me know on Google Classroom or call me on Zoom so that we can go over it. Okay, so let's get started today. I'm going to change this color. So, like I mentioned, when you find the volume of an irregular prism, you have to do something a little bit different in order to find the accurate volume. So, if you look at the notes, also please make sure you have a notebook so you're writing down this information for your notes. When you have an irregular prism, you have to split it so that you can make multiple regular prisms. Okay, you can have 2, you can have 4, you can have as many as it takes to have regular rectangular prisms. Okay, so in this case, if you notice here, there's a few ways you can do it. You can split down the middle, okay, and now you have prism A and prism B here. So this would be one shape that you would find the volume for using 6, 7, and 9. And then you would also use this part, this shape, and find the volume of that. Okay. Also, where's my eraser? There's another way to cut the shape. You can split it this way. And either way, you're going to have A and B. Either way that you split, whether you did it long ways or side to side, the work might look different. You might get different volumes in prism A and prism B, but your combined volume, your final answer will be the same, no matter how you did it. And I'm going to show you both ways in a little bit. So we're going to use that same shape, okay, that same figure from the first part. And I'm going to split the shape in 2 different ways. So first I'm going to split it down the middle. And here you're going to have prism A and prism B. And what you need to do is you need to find the volume of prism A. So we're going to do that as volume A, okay? And it's the same thing. You're going to look for the length, the width, and the height. If you notice here, there's a whole bunch of numbers, but you only need 3 values. So we need to carefully look at what these numbers are to see what the length, the width, and the height of this shape would be. So right now we're only going to focus on this like longer rectangular prism. And if we were to take away B, if we were to cut it out and separate them, the A would go all the way down. Okay, so it would be like this, like a long rectangular prism. Let me erase that. Okay, so if you take a look, we need to find the length, so the long ways. But for prism A, it ends here. So it's not going to be 10 because 10 measures this entire thing. And we only need this part, which equals A. So we have to look at the other values to see what the length is of A. And if you look over here, 4 is how long this part is. So we're going to use that as our length for A. So we're going to have 4 meters here. The width, remember it's how wide something is. We're going to be looking at the width of this shape only. And the width here, if you look, is 9. Then the height of A, how tall it is 12. So volume A is 4 times 9 is 36. And then 36 times 12, let's show our work over here. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, add a 0. 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 3 is 3. 13, 4. So for volume A, your answer is 432 meters cubed. Okay, but we're not done yet. Now we need to find the volume of figure B. Okay, so I'm gonna erase this part just so that you don't get confused, so that we can we only focus on B now. Okay, so once again for B, we're finding the length of B. But since we cut it here, the length is only this part. So it's not going to be 10 because 10, again, measures the entire thing. So if we look on the other side, we have the correct amount of length, which is 6. So for volume B, our length times width times height is going to be 6 for our length. Our width is how wide it is. It's going to be 9. And the height of B, remember that it's only this part of the shape. So the height here would be 7. One way you can kind of look and make sure that you're doing it correctly is, since we have the whole value here, this entire thing was 10. For volume A, it was 4, and for volume B, it was 6. So 4 plus 6 equals 10, so that you know you're on the right track. Okay, now let's combine these. 6 times 9 is 54. 54 times 7, let's show our work. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 2 is 37. 378, meters cubed. Okay, so now that you have the answer for volume A and volume B, we have to combine them because this is only for A, this is only for B. Now we want to know the volume for the entire thing. Since there's no formula to just multiply all these numbers together, we have to find A and B separately and then combine them. So in order to do that, we would take volume A and volume B and add them together. That's how we combine. Okay, 8 plus 2 is 10, carry the 1, 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1, carry the 1, 4 plus 3 is 7, 8. So it's 810 meters cubed. Don't forget your meters cubed, okay? So first, you have to find A, then you find B, add them together, and that's your answer. Now I did mention, I'm gonna attempt to draw the figure here so that you can see. I did mention that there was another way to solve if you wanted to cut it if you wanted to cut sideways. So we did this way, right? We cut it going downwards. Now, if we wanted to cut it the other way, if we wanted to cut this way, we can still find the end value is going to be the same, but volume A and volume B might be different. So let's just see what volume A looks like this way. So now, this is going to be A and this is going to be B. So carefully, we have to look at it now. I'm going to do it in a different color so you can see. Okay, so for volume A, for prism A, we want to find the length. So this length, if you look, remember is not going to be 10 because 10 is for this entire thing. But for here, if we look over here, the volume is going to be, the length is going to be 4. The width, how wide it is, still 9, but now the height is going to change. So 12 measured this entire thing, but since we cut it here, we're only going to see how tall this part is. So we have to look for the height, which is back here, and it's going to be 5. So for volume A, 4 times 9 is 336. 36 times 5, that's 30, 15, so 180 meters cubed. Okay, again, we need to do part B. So for B, the length would be this side. So now we can use 10 because we're measuring the entire length of B. So 10 times the width is 9 times the height. So notice we only want this part of the height because if we measure 12, we're also measuring A in there. So we only want this part of the height, which is 7. So 10 times 9 is 90 times 7. 9 times 7 is 63, add a 0, meters cubed. Okay, so like I mentioned, if you cut it long ways or sideways, volume A and volume B might be a little bit different. But when you combine them, you should get the same answer. So let's combine 630. So for volume of the whole thing, 630 plus 180. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry the 1. 6 plus 1 plus 2 is 8 meters cubed. So same answer and same answer. Okay, so the work in between might be different depending on if you cut it long ways or sideways, but your answer should always be the same. Okay. Okay, and you don't have to do both ways of work as long as you get the correct answer at the end. I'm going to try 2 more with you. Okay, so here, let's cut this shape. I want to cut it maybe this way. Okay, so let's find the volume of A first. Length times width times height. This will be A and this would be B. So for volume A, the length, so the length would be this part of it. We can't use the number 15 because again 15 goes from here to here. So the length of only A would be 5. For the width, it's how wide it is. So in this case, it would be 7. And how tall A is 8. So 5 times 7 is 35 times 8. 35 times 8 is, it's 40. 24 plus 4 is 28. So for volume A, we would get 280 inches cubed. Now let's do for volume B. For volume B. Length times width times height. Length here, now we can use the entire 15 because that's how long B is. The width, how wide it is, so the slanted part, this one's going to be 7 also. And then how tall. So notice that we're only using this section of the I just noticed that I made a mistake for volume A. So since we cut it here, technically this part is not in the height. So this is the height of volume A. Sorry guys. So it should be a 6 here. And this is going to change to times 6. 210. Okay, now we're good. So the reason why that happened is because if you notice, the A measures the entire thing. But since we cut A here, we can only use part of this 8. Okay, that was my fault. And if you look on this side, it shows you the correct height for A. In B, since it's only the skinny little part, and on the bottom of A, it's this section. So it's 2. So VB equals 15 times 7. Show our work. 10 times 2. 10. And we get the same for A and B. So now what we need to do is find the volume of both. So 210 plus 210 equals 420 inches cubed. Okay, and you might get different values for volume A and volume B if you cut it going down, but your final answer should be 420 inches cubed. And yeah, I just checked my book and that's the answer. All right, so if you want to try on your own, practice more problems, you can find the volume of this one going long ways. So this would be A and only this part would be B. And you might get different answers here, but your final answer, will be 420. Let's try this one. Okay, so here, this is where I mentioned earlier that you might need to find more than 2. You can find 4, you can find as many as it takes to get regular rectangular prisms. So in this case, we're going to need to cut it more than once. Well, not necessarily, because if we cut it here, then you would only have an A and a B, okay? But if you like to cut it long ways, then yes, you would need to cut this side and this side. It would be A, B, and C, and then at the end you would need to combine all three. So let's try it that way, okay? It's easier to cut it across, but let's just try this way just so that you can see both methods. So here, first let's find the volume of A. So here the volume of A is length times width times height. So volume A, length, it would be only this part. So 7 measures all of it, but since we cut it, we're only going to use this part of it, which is 1 centimeter. The width of it, you can't see here, but it does go all the way to the back, just like C's. So the width of C is 8, and the same thing would be for A. And the height is only this part, so it's 2. Volume A is 1 times 8 is 8 times 2 is 16 centimeters cubed. Okay. For volume B, volume B is going to be the length of volume B. So if you look at here, 7 measures all of it, but we only want to measure this part, which is the length up here. Okay, so we're going to use 5 for the length. The width is still 8, but now the height is going to change. And here, it doesn't give you one specific height because it's 5 here, but it's only showing this part. In order to combine the height, you would need to add 5 and 2 because it goes all the way down. Okay, so 5 plus 2 is 7. Then 5 times 8 is 40. 4 times 7 is 28. Add a 0. So it's 280 centimeters cubed. If you wanted to do a shortcut, you know that A and B have the same values. So volume C is just 16 centimeters cubed, or you can show your work. So for C, length times width times height, volume C's length on this side, again, is going to be only 1. Then the width, then the height, which is only this part 2, is 16 centimeters cubed. So now when we're combining, you have to make sure to combine all 3 together. So in order to find the volume of this whole thing, you get 16 plus 280 plus 16. Okay, so 6 plus 0 plus 6, you get 12. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 8 is 10, plus 1 is 11, then carry, and you get 3. So here, your answer would be 312 centimeters cubed. Okay, if you want to practice this on your own, instead of cutting it into 3s, you could have just cut it across and find the volume of A and B. So you can go ahead and try that one on your own and make sure that you get 312. And you're only going to have 2, so volume A and volume B to combine. Okay, I do have applicers for you, so fill out the Google form, and your homework will be practice and reteaching in your workbook, so make sure you get that done. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. We will have a meeting on Monday, so if this is a little tricky, make sure you ask questions on Monday during our rundown meeting, and I'll go over some of these problems if you guys are a little confused, okay? But anyway, if you have questions before you submit your homework, please reach out so I can help you. And that's it, okay? I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.